Last time you saw me, I was managing Real Madrid. We won La Liga, but the season fell apart. Out of the Champions League, out of the Copa del Rey. Too many losses. I was sacked. Chelsea showed interest. Talks happened. But they went in a different direction, appointing Liam Rosenyor instead. Ruben Amorim is gone. Manchester United need a manager. We're starting this save mid-season to emulate real life. And my goal is simple. Bring this club back to the top and win the Champions League. Just like the Real Madrid series, we have seasonal objectives. If I fail 3 out of 6, I'll be under pressure from the board. If I fail 4 out of 6, I lose my job and the series ends. And my first game in charge? Manchester City. At Old Trafford, Haaland opened the scoring just 8 minutes in. Cunha then had a huge chance to equalize and fumbled it. Moments later, Haaland made it 2-0. And it looked like my United career was going to start with a derby defeat. But Kobbie Mainoo pulled one back, a free kick off the post. Shortly after, Bruno Fernandes leveled it. Bernardo Silva restored City's lead. Then Cunha responded again. 3-3 before halftime, I switched to a 3-4-2-1, a system. This squad had been playing for over a year. I wanted defensive solidity, a compact back five, and maybe, just maybe, a point. Early in the second half, Diogo Dalot scored an absolute wonder goal at the Stretford end. City threw everything at us, but this time they couldn't respond. A 4-3 win, up to 4th in the league. What a way to start your Manchester United career. Despite the result, it was obvious changes were needed. The midfield was being overrun, and everyone knows United need a midfielder. We'd been linked with Ruben Neves and Conor Gallagher. I approached Atletico Madrid for Gallagher, trying a loan with an option to buy, but they wanted to keep him, despite his lack of game time. Since recording, he's actually signed for Spurs in real life. I then went all in for Neves, a bidding war with Cremonese. We won it, 40 million agreed, but his wage demands were simply too high. So I moved on to another option, Felix Nmecha. Unhappy with his minutes at Dortmund, and a $45 million fee was agreed. Youngsters Nwashi and Amas were loaned out, and Nmecha came through the door after agreeing terms. He made his debut in the FA Cup against Reading. But I quickly noticed another issue, the left wing. There was no real cover for Matheus Cunha. We won 3-0, Cunha scoring twice, but it sent me straight back into the market. I went for the highly sought-after wonder kid Yan Diamand. After long negotiations, a $50 million deal was agreed. Wages accepted. Then I realized he was injured. Out for a month, a real fumble. Against West Ham, we got the job done with a 2-0 win, though Mazraoui picked up an injury. Versus Fulham, Bruno calmly converted an early penalty. Fulham nearly equalized, but Lamens made a huge save. Šeško made it 2-0 before halftime. A red card for Anthony Robinson helped, and late on, Matthijs de Ligt sealed it, keeping us firmly in the Champions League race. Against Spurs, Cunha and Mainoo both scored screamers to make it 2-0. Then Spurs scored, and then they scored again. Šeško restored the lead before halftime and wrapped it up in the second half. A result that showed this team's fight and character. To avoid injuries, Cunha, Šeško, and Nmecha were rested against Arsenal. Havertz opened the scoring. Mbeumo equalized. Dalot came up clutch again to make it 2-1. At halftime, I switched back to a 3-4-3 to catch Arsenal off guard. But Martinelli leveled early in the second half. I threw on players who were meant to be protected. I wanted this win. It backfired. Cunha picked up an injury, leaving us with 10 men and no subs. Late on, Havertz struck again. A 3-2 loss, and a reminder that United aren't ready to win the league just yet. Cunha was ruled out for 3 weeks. Against Everton, Šeško scored the only goal in a narrow 1-0 win. Then, in the FA Cup replay, Bruno, Šeško, and Xerxes sent us into the quarterfinals. Versus Crystal Palace, Šeško opened the scoring. Bruno had one ruled out for offside. Ugart, of all people, scored an absolute rocket. Šeško added another. Suddenly, we were favorites for Champions League qualification. The media praised Šeško's work rate and finishing. Interest followed, from Manchester City and my former club, Real Madrid. Fabrizio Romano revealed Šeško would be open to a summer exit if we failed to qualify for the Champions League. Juventus also showed interest in Diogo Dalot. Against Newcastle, Elanga scored against his former club. We struggled to respond, but until Livramento was sent off late on. With tactical tweaks, we found a lifeline. Ahmad, last minute, 1-1. Then came the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea. Delap had a goal ruled out, then scored a minute later. In the second half, I tried to change things, but Delap scored again. Sheshko pulled one back. Lisandro Martinez equalized with 5 minutes to go. Extra time looked inevitable. Then Facundo Bonanotte scored a last-minute winner. FA Cup dreams over. A draw with Bournemouth followed. 3 league games without a win. Not the form of a team chasing Champions League football. 8 games left. 8 cup finals. The future of this club is in my hands. Will we finish in the top 4? Let me know in the comments.